Here we go. Now I've got my mic going. Hopefully I am audible and visible. How is everybody doing? I'll even do this. Okay. Hello, friends. We're live on 3 out of 4 places, and I'm getting live on Instagram. Welcome to the Witchy Weather Report. How are we feeling today? Here comes my Instagram live. Witchy Weather Report. Oh, hi. Hi, Sophie. How are you? Okay, add title and go live. And now the real question is, can I get my phone in a good situation? Okay, putting my phone like this. Ooh, it's staying. Wow. Wow. You just woke up. Yeah, me too. Well, I woke up. I set my alarm for 10 so that I would have time to get ready for the Witchy Weather Report. Hey, Ondine, how are you? Good morning. I am also sleepy. All right, so let's see. I'll be reading today for our last Witchy Weather Report of 2023. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here, everybody. I'm reading with the Tarot of the Abyss just because I wanna, just because I really like this deck and I got it during 2023, so it feels appropriate. It's a beautiful line art tarot. The author is Anne Torian. I'm very excited. So if this is your first time on the Witchy Weather Report, oh, hi, Anu, welcome. If this is your first time on the Witchy Weather Report, here's what you need to know. I will be sharing, first I will be pulling a card for everybody tuned in. That will be our general Witchy Weather Report, our forecast for the coming weeks, and kind of some advice on how to approach them as our best selves. I will then be pulling cards for as many people as would like one that I can get to in 1 hour. I have a hard stop at 12, so that is something for you to know. If you would like me to pull a card for you, the earlier you tell me, the better. And the way that you ask for a card on the Witchy Weather Report is by putting a cat in the chat. Either use a cat emoji or you can type the word meow in the chat, and that is how I will know that you would like me to pull a card. And the reason we do that is because in the past we have I'm about to pull this up and I hope it doesn't give me noise. I'm pulling this up so that I can edit this post to avoid scammers. In the past, we've had scammers. And that looks like people who come on and like either impersonate me or just show up and reply to your comments like DM me or pay me $5, I will give you a card. That's not me. I'm not a person who will ever go in a comment and be like DM me and get your reading. You get your reading live on the video if you put a cat in the chat, and that's it. And if you want to buy a reading from me, like a full reading at a later time, you can do that at the Etsy link, which is in the description for this video, or if you're on Instagram, it's on my it's at the link in my bio. And I do that again so that you know it's me. I will never say DM me or message me and I'll sell you a reading. That if someone's doing that, it's not me. I do that so that you can be sure when you do buy something from Etsy that I am the one giving you a reading. Because I've had scammers try to fleece people before because I'm on here doing tarot readings, and that's so sad. I don't want to ever see that happen. I did have one person say I sent my money and I didn't get my card, and I'm like, oh no, you didn't send it to me. So I never want to see that happen to anyone. So that's why we have these precautions. Anyway, welcome. And if you would like to ask me a particular question with your card, I would love to answer your particular question to the best of my ability. So feel free to put it right when you ask for your card, or if you already have, feel free to put it in the chat whenever. I will share that I don't read on matters of physical health because I am not a doctor. I'm a tarot reader. I just look at the pretty pictures of the cards. I did not go to medical school. But if you do have a health concern and want to ask about how to best approach it from a kind of spiritual, holistic, psychological point of view, I will talk about that with you. Similarly, I don't read about pregnancy, which is a health issue. And I do not read about soulmates or twin flames because I never want to be the reason that somebody stays with someone who is bad for them or someone does not stay with someone who is right for them, because Rory the tarot reader said I don't answer questions about soulmates or twin flames. I will talk to you about relationships if you'd like me to, in general. All right. Hello, we got a lot of people tuned in. Hi, Frankie Matos. I should say hi, Lena. What's the matter with me? Um, Hi, Ange. Hi, V. Welcome, welcome. Good meowing. Hi, Chaka. Hi, hi, Sophie. Hi, Carol. Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Anu. Okay, that was a long disclaimer at the beginning, but now you know all the things about the Witchy Weather Report, and I like to just get everyone on the same page at the beginning. It's because I read the thing, but I know better and I can do better. So sorry about that. How are you? Okay. I am moving my own stuff around so I have a good place to put down cards. I'm reading today from Tarot of the Abyss, which is by Anne Torian. Look at this beautiful line art on this deck. I love it because of its simplicity and yet level of detail. And first I'll be pulling a card for everybody. Oh my gosh, you're in pajamas with Shelby King. That's delightful. Did you have a good pajama party? That's wonderful. Meow, meow. Love seeing all the meows in the chat. This card is for everybody. And by the way, I will share, we are going into a new year. I'm not pulling a card about the new year. If you ask me in your card, if you're like, tell me about 2024, of course I will. I'm happy to. But this card is not for the whole new year. This card is just for the coming weeks. And I say that to clarify because I realize that New Year's Eve is tomorrow. This card is just for the coming weeks of what we can expect in, like the month of January, basically. Okay? Okay. And this is, oh, you don't need to forego your card, you silly goose. Of course I'll read a card for you. Don't worry. This is a card, especially because you were one of the first people here. I'll definitely pull a card for you. So this is a card for the coming weeks. Here is the card. It is the King of Pentacles. My friends, it is time for me to remind you that we are the stewards of the resources in our lives. We are in charge. We are the leader we've been looking for. If you've been wondering around like, oh gosh, I wish an adult would step in and handle my life for me, good news. You're the adult and it's time for you to step in. The King of Pentacles wisely uses his resources, and we have kings and queens in the tarot. Some tarot decks interpret them differently or give them different titles. I will tell you that I do not apply a gendered lens to the tarot because I think patriarchy is bogus and stupid. So when I see kings and queens, what that translates to for me as a reader is leadership and authority. The King of Pentacles is in leadership and authority around their resources, around time, energy, and money. That is what we talk about when we talk about Pentacles, which is a stand-in for resource. So it's up to you, my friends, over the coming weeks to manage your resources according to what you think is best, to step in as a leader in your life and look earnestly at what's going on. Are you feeling burnt out? Are you overspending? Are you underspending? Are you doing the thing where you really need a new pair of boots and your old pair of boots is like broken and it gets wet every time it rains, but you just won't spend the money? Are you underspending? Like when you really should be spending on those new pairs of boots for yourself. Are you are you over giving your energy in a way that isn't being reciprocated in certain relationships? It's time for you to take an honest look at your own resources, how they're being expended, and make some tweaks as needed. That's what the king does. The king makes tweaks. The king accepts messages and ideas from other people and guidance. That's part of his wisdom, the ability to like tune into the knowledge of experts, but ultimately makes his own decisions. The king is the leader. It's time for you to be a leader around your resources. Make your decisions. If you don't like something you see, you have the power to impact that. That doesn't mean we can change the fact that we live in the patriarchal capitalist system that we do. It does mean, however, that we can have an influence on our own lives and how we use our resources. We can make those choices. We can name ourselves the authority rather than allowing friggin' crappy corporations to be authority over us, for example, or allowing the circumstances of a crappy job to be an authority. At the end of the day, we have ultimate authority, and it is okay for us to exercise that. Yes, down with the patriarchy, indeed. Hi, Savannah. That was the card for everybody. It's the King of Pentacles. You are being reminded to be in your authority around your resource, your time, energy, and money. You are the leader. You are in charge. Okay. Also, good meowing. Melissa says, but I don't want to be adult. Big mood. Ooh, putting in an extra meow for Oaf from Doodles and Oaf. Hi, Oaf. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. Have I told you that I think that your music is great? Because I do. Good meowing, Twitch folks says, yeah, it's great to see so many people twitchy. Such twitchiness. Okay, so I have many people who have requested a card. We're going to start with my patron, Grayson, who has asked for a card. This is something I do, so you know, for my patrons, as Sassafras Tarot. If you're a Sassafras Tarot patron, I give y'all a chance to request a card a couple days early. I don't do that with everyone else. It's just a special thing I do for my patrons, because my patrons support me financially, and I appreciate them and reciprocate that by giving them some bonus perks. So I do have one patron who requested an early card, and that is Grayson. And they said, what is something I should consider in January? I love Grayson's questions. I often compliment them on having wonderful questions for the tarot. So, Grayson, I'm pulling a card for you at this time. After that, I'm going to go down the list in Insta, and then I'm going to look at all the other places, because that's my two screens, and it helps my brain. So don't worry. I will be getting to you if you have asked for a card. Okay? Okay. First of all, hydration checkpoint. I'm unbearably chipper. Cut it out. I don't know what happened to me. I don't know why I'm like this morning. But hydration checkpoint, y'all. Oh, I didn't ask my 3 questions. So while I'm having my tea and possibly burning my face on it, I'll let you know if I need to call an emergency service, because this is very hot. Answer me these questions 3. Number 1, where are you tuned in from? I'm broadcasting from my feminist fairy cave on Long Island in New York. Question number 2. What are you sipping on? I am sipping on sencha, which is a fancy pants type of green tea. Question number 3. How are you feeling today? I want the real answer, not the polite answer. We are vulnerable and real on my broadcasts. How are you feeling today? I'm going to take my sip of tea while I consider my feelings. That's quite hot. That's why I did a little slurpee. I am feeling good. And I'm feeling good because I've given myself permission to not set goals in 2024. I've set goals for many years, not resolutions, but goals, as in like smart goals with timelines and all of that, and like specifics, so that I can know if I followed them or not. And in 2024, my goal is to swing the pendulum back from overwork, which has been challenging me my whole adult life, into taking good care of myself. So my main goal is to take good care of myself. And giving myself that opportunity has made me feel free. So I feel free. Maybe that's why I'm chipper. I don't know. Maybe I'm just loopy, because I've only been awake for about an hour, y'all. No 4th question. Okay, 4th question. What are you doing for New Year's? Are you doing anything? Do you have any New Year's rituals that you enjoy? And what are they? I want to be a better communicator, a bit wordy professionally. I feel that I also can err on the side of being wordy. I want to make sure everything is explained, and so I can say too much. I definitely like tend to make that mistake. A bit wordy professionally, but personally I don't say important things. I definitely understand that. Yeah, I relate very strongly to that. Um, Thank you for being happy for me. I'm happy for me too. We'll see how it goes. It's an experiment. Because I have a lot of fear around not being a workaholic. It's an ongoing experiment in my life. Tune in with coffee and Shaolin. I don't know how to say it. I'll say Shaolin. Just finding my way. I feel you. I feel you on that. On the couch with Jack. Hi, Jack. Currently drinking water and actually feeling great. I love it. Hang on. Sneeze coming. I'm sorry, Kaylee. My cat hates sneezes. I don't know where she is. But if any of us sneeze inside the house, she gets very upset. It's the only thing she's afraid of. She's afraid of nothing. It's to her detriment. It's not safe. She would like try to beat up I don't know, like a lion. If a lion came along, Kaylee would try to bite it. But you sneeze and she's terrified. So that's our ritual. We sneeze and then we apologize to Kaylee in this house. Thank you. Um, Tuned in from Long Island. Alkaline water. Ooh, alkaline water. Very affirmed after going to a party dressed all cute last night. I think I saw an Instagram photo of you dressed all cute, and I'm here to say you look friggin' adorable. That is all. Um, my New Year's ritual is saying see you next year to everyone before the last day of work. Yes, here for that. Like, yes. Biggest dad joke. I love it. Scrabble and champagne with friends for New Year's. Ooh, I love that. That's delightful. Long Island, New York, need to drink some water. Recommended. Take your hydration checkpoints with me. It's the very boring Rory Kelly drinking game where we all get hydrated together. Um, Feeling relaxed and good and trying to be thankful for the beauty of my life amongst this trouble. And New Year's Eve, you were giving a free fish ticket. That's lovely. Wow. Have a wonderful. Tuning in from Washington State, drinking nothing yet but brewing coffee. Excellent. Feeling tired but good. No new plans, no New Year's plans this year. That's also lovely. Ooh, tuned in on 2 platforms, 3 devices. Judith Wyman, overachiever of the year. Okay, anyway, I was pulling a card for Grayson and I got lost in my hydration checkpoint. So Grayson asked, what should I consider? What's something I should consider for January? That was their question. Okay, so Grayson, what you should consider for January is the Tower. We're talking about foundations here, and we're talking about whether your situation feels like a strong foundation or feels shaky. And I invite you, when the Tower comes up as something you should consider, sometimes that means it's time for you to be the Tower. It's time for you to break through the perhaps discomfort that comes from saying real things when people don't want to hear them, that kind of thing. And I invite you to like break down things in your own life or around you that aren't working. Point out the flaws in the foundation rather than just go along with it, as perhaps people might wish you would. But you can see, if you can see ahead of you that things are not going to work out, if you can see, oh, this is a flimsy foundation, this relationship is going to get hairy because we haven't decided to share and disclose things with each other in an honest way, or this situation is going to get hairy because it's mismanaged, or this capitalist system we all live in really hurts a whole lot of people and it's a problem. It's okay and appropriate for you at this time to point out the problems, those cracks in the foundation that you are seeing. You can't control how other people will react to this. The results are usually chaotic because many people will prop up a structure that they feel comforted by long after it's useful. Right? That's a thing. Have you ever been in a relationship longer than you knew you should, but you were like, but it is something that comforts me and makes me feel sane day to day, and I don't know if I can leave. People do that in a million ways with a million things, and it's human psychology. I'm not blaming anybody. But so when you show up and are like, listen, this isn't going to work, people don't like that because they feel you're attacking them, their comfort. I'm going to invite you, Grayson, to go ahead and do it anyway, to go ahead and use your unique perspective to say, I know what will work and what won't work here. It's time to have that conversation. And go ahead and be the Tower when it is needed. Be the Tower, be the one who's going to put your foot down and say, I know this won't work. Here's the changes I'm making. Join me or don't. And yes, that may inject some more chaos into your life, but it is the kind of chaos that is almost like blessed chaos, because you know that you are making the choice that is the wise choice, that is ultimately right in your heart, rather than just going with the flow until things crumble and the chips fall what they may. So I invite you to be the Tower. I invite you to be this energy by checking out the foundation of different aspects of your life and the community around you, and ask yourself, is there anything that could benefit from like literally breaking it down with a sledgehammer? Now is not the time to be complacent, in other words. That's something you should consider in January. Yes, the Tower is sacred destruction. Been there. Eating oatmeal doesn't matter where I am. Oatmeal is everywhere. That's fair. I don't need to know where you are. I hope you're enjoying your oatmeal. I will say, I pull a guide card every year, and this is something that I haven't really properly posted about this year, but it's a service I offer at the beginning of New Year's. I charge $20 for it, and I pull a guide card for myself every year, and it's one card to guide me through the whole year. So it's not predictive at all. It is a card to be a touchstone and to teach me things. And I had a whole year where the Tower was my guide card. And y'all, that was a ridiculous year. In a lot of ways, it was a horrible year. In a lot of ways, it was a wonderful year because it was very transformative, because I stopped accepting things that weren't working and my life transformed before my eyes. Um, so the Tower it is Sacred Destruction. It is not a bad card. It is a chaotic card. Anywho, if anyone is interested in a guide card, you can find it on my Etsy shop. That is the way to get any kind of reading with me. The information should be in the description of this broadcast or scrolling across the bottom. Or if you're on Instagram, it's at the link in my bio. Okay, let's see who is next. And that's like, it's very particular, a guide card. I pull it and I give you a longer write-up and explanation than I would have time for in this broadcast, and really talk about how this card can influence every area of your life and how you can use this card as a tool for growth throughout the whole year. So that's what that is. Anywho. Okay, let's take a look and see. I'm going to Instagram and seeing who has meowed. First, we got Ondine. Then we got Anu. Oh, hi, Mary Jane. And then we got Mary Jane, and then we got Melissa. So that's who's on deck. Ondine, you know what? I'm putting in a comment for myself so I can see it. Ondine, Anu, Mary Jane, Melissa. That is the current order of people I will be pulling cards for. And there, now it's on the screen so I can't forget. Look at me. Look at me making choices that will support me in the future, the near future, when I forget all the people's names. Okay. Let me scroll back down to the bottom. And don't worry, if you are on another platform and you request a card, I'm still going to get to you. Don't worry. I just do Instagram first because there's usually only a few people there, and it helps my brain not to go from screen to screen. I don't forget people that way. Okay. I type so fast. I do. You know what's, I'm a millennial. And I'm an elder millennial, but my parents were early technology adopters. So I really don't identify with Gen X. I identify with millennial, and I think it's because I grew up with a computer in the house since I was very, very young. I was on the internet since I was like, I don't know, 9 or 10. So I type very fast as a result. And that got me some of my first ever jobs. I had a ridiculous words per minute, and that mattered at that time. Okay. Ondine, card for you. Ondine, we have the Page of Swords for you. It is time for you to speak your truth. It is time for you to let truth be a glorious thing that sets you free. You may find that you're not fully ready to speak your truth yet because you are questing for your truth. It may be a process of detection at this point where you are learning new things, both about the world around you and about yourself. Both facts, as in like, this is true and this happened and this person said this thing and this person did this thing, as well as like philosophical things. You know, you may be learning new perspectives and new ideas. And as you go through this learning, you may find that your own sense of truth is evolving. It's important for you to process it however you are best equipped to process evolving truth. For me, going on walks and writing in my journal is how I process that, and making art, and maybe you also process by making art. I definitely process through creativity. Some people process by speaking as they go, and it can be confusing for those around them. I have people in my life like this where they'll like process their truth by being like, so it's like this, so it's like this, and they'll say a bunch of conflicting things. They're not conflicting. They're working out the truth for themselves by kind of spiraling towards it. You know, like that's how they work it out. They figure it out in real time. That's a valid way to process your truth. Some people process their truth by like kind of meditating or sleeping on it and waking up and just knowing. You know what's best for you. Know that this is a time in the coming weeks of you processing your truth. You will arrive at a new truth. You may feel like there is a very confusing labyrinth in front of you, like you're not quite sure how to navigate things. All you need to follow is the truth. Look at your truth, as the figure on this card does, as a beautiful North Star for you. Trust that your truth will lead you home. Trust that your truth will lead you where it needs to go, and trust too that it is evolving day by day. So allow yourself to be on that path. Trust in the journey. Okay? Okay, good. Next up. Oh, I'm already so glad that I wrote down these names, because I get really into reading for each person and I completely forget the logistics of like that list of names in my brain. Okay, next up I have Anu. And if you have particular questions, by the way, feel free to ask. I've been like scrolling. I don't think I saw specific questions for anybody, except for Melissa. I think just put a specific question in there. So, okay. Anu, I'm pulling a card for you. Rory is from the future. A lot of Aquarius rising people feel that way. Anu, your card is the Hermit. At this time, two things. It's important to be in your wisdom and to know that you possess wisdom. It's important for you to know that the greatest wisdom doesn't necessarily come from a teacher externally. It doesn't mean you can't learn from other people, from mentors, from ideas, from belief systems. But right now, the best wisdom is coming from your own light. So the best thing you can do is give yourself that time to be fully yourself, to be your weird self as well, like not to be your presentable what's the word, like, you know, like your public persona self, but to give yourself space to just be yourself, you know, in all your unique individual glory, and allow that to be a light in the darkness for you. Trust that you have the answers you need. You have the light that you need. So time with yourself is warranted. Healthy time with yourself where you honor yourself to the best of your ability. And if that feels challenging, as it does for many of us, because um we're taught that that's selfish. It's not selfish. It actually helps us be better people, but we're taught that showing up for ourselves can be selfish. If it's challenging for you to honor yourself, then I'm going to invite you instead to explore yourself, to think of this time as going on a date with yourself and learn more about yourself, because your gifts are what you need right now. Your intelligence, your wisdom is what you need right now, your own light. So please give yourself room to shine that light, because when you shine it on yourself, inherently it brightens the world for everybody. It's a reflection year. Yes, very much. Thanks for affirming. You are welcome. Yeah, and you know, and I'm pulling cards, like I said, just for the next few weeks for people, unless you ask a very particular question and I'll answer it, you know. Um, so what happens often when people spend some time with themselves is they get the answers they need and then they're motivated to go make a new choice. Like that's the beauty of when we finally give ourselves time. We find we don't need um we all of us need alone time, introvert or extrovert, we all need it. So I don't mean that like we suddenly don't need it. I mean what happens is we give ourselves that alone time and then we have some epiphanies and it informs us, and then we might make new choices because we've had these epiphanies that we needed to have. So so give yourself that time because it's very transformative. That's where we grow from stillness. Okay, Mary Jane, pulling a card for you, and then Melissa. That is what is going on. Oh my gosh. I'm like scrolling through the comments, and instead of what's happening is trying to make me make a comment. I'm a confused elder millennial. Get off my lawn. I'm trying to talk kind of fast today. I don't know if y'all can tell because I want to get to everybody. And also, if you're in my Witchy Self-Care Intensive, we are meeting at 12:30. So I really am honoring my hard stop at 12 today. I will, so that we can meet at 12:30 as planned. And I want us to all have that break so that we can, like, whatever, eat a little something, go to the bathroom, whatever. So Witchy Self-Care people, thank you for joining. I'll see you soon again. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, Mary Jane, this card is for you, my love. We have the Knight of Cups. It is time for you right now to allow others to see you how they'll see you because you are going after the journey of your heart. Um, I don't know if I put that exactly the way I need to say. You need to ride your own journey right now. You need to be on the journey that you're on, to follow your heart in a way that may look chaotic to others, and just not fuss yourself with how it looks to others, because this isn't about them, it's about you. It's time for you to go on a journey. It's, excuse me, an emotional, heart-centered one. It's time for you to be vulnerable. Try to be vulnerable where you can with wisdom. Choose who is worthy of your vulnerability. There are times when you still might be so excited about something that's in your heart that you're vulnerable with someone that you later realize maybe was not a worthy recipient because they respond as a wet blanket or judgmentally. And that's information. You can choose to view that as information that they're giving you about themselves rather than information about you. Because right now, what you are meant to be is be right in the thick of your heart's journey. You don't have to know the outcome right now. You only have to know where your heart is pointing you and follow it. Trust your heart as the North Star. Trust your deep emotions as the North Star. Trust your creativity as the North Star. And trust that even if it feels chaotic and confusing, you will get where you're going if you follow your heart. Okay? Okay. Okay, Melissa, pulling a card for you. Scrolling to find your thing. Okay, put my cat on Instagram earlier, so I'll ask my question here. I'd love guidance on how I should approach love in the new year. I love that question. I love the specificity of it. Absolutely. You got it. And you did get, as I recall, I did give you a guide card. So I'm sure your guide card has some guidance. So consider this in conjunction with this. Like, feel free to cross-reference. Like the adorable little Libra nerd I know you are. I mean that in a truly loving and affirming way, because I am an adorable little Virgo nerd with a Libra moon. Oh, there's Mary Jane. You're on Facebook now. Y'all are so sneaky, just drifting around from platform to platform. Good advice for this Virgo who always wants to know the outcome beforehand. Biggest mood. That's why it was terrifying for me to let go of workaholism, because it was the way I felt I had control. And I'm like legit on a recovery journey about that. Of course, you can't just stop working in this society. We still need to pay for things, right? But I'm on a recovery journey from overwork. And I know that the reasons before my overwork is because I want to control the outcome to the best of my ability. And I do that in such a way that I guarantee an outcome of burnout for myself. But it's very hard for me to let go of the outcome. So I really feel you, Mary Jane. I really do. Yeah, now is a time for you to trust the process. Okay. Melissa, advice on love for the coming year and how to approach it. We have the Ten of Swords, and I want to share with you what the Ten of Swords looks like on this deck. So the Ten of Swords traditionally is a card of betrayal. The Ten of Swords here is a card of wisdom, and it is a card of cumulative wisdom. We see an owl, both wise and really dangerous. I have seen videos, y'all, with owls that just like pick up toddlers. Owls are bigger than we think and stronger than we think. And I literally have watched videos of owls like swooping down and picking up a toddler and trying to fly away with them. It's terrifying. Owls can be quite scary. Owls are also symbols of wisdom. And so I say this to you, not to frighten you, but because I want you to understand what you're dealing with when we deal with love. It's a vulnerability thing. It can be a source of great insight in our lives and great joy in our lives, and it can be a source of terror in our lives, right? And facing it eye to eye, the good and the bad, the good, the bad, the ugly, as I've heard you say, that is your best approach to love right now. It's eyes wide open. And it's eyes wide open and a willingness to know that approaching your heart and the hearts of those you're with, that honestly will at times be painful. I'm not even going to say might, it will, right? Because anyone who's been in a relationship, even one that they consider to be a successful one, whether it lasted or didn't, anyone who's been in a relationship of the heart with somebody, whether it's romantic or whether it's a deep other type of connection, knows that at times you're gonna hurt each other. Not even meaning to, you're gonna hurt each other. And you have to approach with eyes wide open, knowing that's gonna happen and willing, because the commitment to the journey is so great for you. Now, that doesn't mean I want you to be eyes wide open, willing to be hurt by anyone. What it means is I want you to practice your discernment. We have this wise man here who really represents like the wealth of years of wisdom, right? Use your discernment, use your years of wisdom as you go into your love life, and approach it eyes wide open, knowing that still you will be surprised, still you will be hurt, still you will find moments of breathtaking clarity that are joyful, right? All of that is before you. And so when you choose to make a commitment to another person, whether it's a formal like we're going to do this commitment, or if it's just a commitment to get to know someone better, know that all of that is before you, and choose to stand in your wisdom and also have your eyes wide open. So bothy, right? I'm not asking you to be the fool and jump off a cliff. I am asking you to truly open your heart when you decide it's time. Okay. The owls are not what they seem. Let me tell you about owls. I don't know what I have to tell you about owls, except that they've been following me around. There's not a literal owl following me around, to my knowledge, but I have been seeing owls everywhere for the last couple months, and that has been an interesting part of my journey. I'm still working on interpreting it. The spiritual advice I've gotten, like from my guides, like if you believe in this, I do, is not to panic about the owls. Which is not exactly comforting, but I'm choosing to listen and not panic about the owls. That right there, Those couple of sentences might be the most woo-woo you ever see me get, because although I'm a tarot reader, I try to stay pretty grounded. I try to be accessible for people with all different types of beliefs. I myself am agnostic, and my beliefs are, I view them as experimental. I view them as trial and error. So, anywho, okay. Don't panic about the owls. Not suspicious at all. Yeah, seriously, right? Okay, I'm gonna see who the next several people are, and I'm gonna do a hydration checkpoint. Play the Rory Kelly hydration game with me. When I drink, you drink. Hydration checkpoint. Cheers, y'all. Bonk. Okay, let's see who's next. Where do I have meows? I have a meow from Judith. I have a meow from Chaka. I have a meow from Carol. Okay. And I know there's other meows. That's just like the first three that I'm getting to, and I'm typing it for myself. Judith, Chaka, Carol. Okay. And now I am going to scroll down to see if anyone asked very particular questions. Or if they're just general cards. Scrolling. I know this is the most interesting part of the broadcast, right? You're having a great time, I'm sure. Okay, there, that's for myself. Okay. Melissa says, gonna go get settled in for the workshop. I love it. Get excited because we're doing a releasing ritual today. It's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be big. Not to be scared. Don't panic. Not It's gonna be big and it's gonna be worth it. Put it that way. I am excited about the releasing ritual. And you're very welcome. And thank you. Thank you, Melissa, for being a part of this. Okay. Judith, pulling a card for you. Anywho, I just saw that. Thank you. Thank you, Carol, for bringing that owl energy. Yes, and Savannah also, yes. I just thank you. Thank you all for being that person. I really appreciate this community so much. Thank you all for being like, oh, there's a dad joke to be had about the owls and doing it. I appreciate you. And thank you to the person who just tipped me on Venmo. You're lovely. Y'all, tips are always welcome, but never expected. I offer this freely once a month. But I thank you, those of you who have been generous. Thank you so much. You could see, I think my virtual tips are on the bottom of the screen, or if you're on Instagram, it's at the link in my bio. The link in my bio is a link tree, so it kind of links to everything. Okay. Judith, pulling a card for you for realsies. My toxic trait is I'm like, I'm about to pull a card for you, and then I go off on a tangent for 5 minutes. Okay, Judith, this is your card. Your card, Judith, is the 5 of Swords. I want to ask you not to pin yourself down, and I especially want to ask you not to pin yourself down in other ways that people have pinned you down in the past. Sing of Roses. Hi, who is this? You left me some cats on Facebook. I probably did see them and haven't gotten to you yet. I'm still at the early cats because I'm pulling for everyone in order. Tell me your Facebook name so I can be sure I see you. Oh, it's Sophie. Yes, you're actually next after these 3. Don't worry. I didn't know you were Sing of Roses. What a lovely friggin' Instagram handle. I'm looking at you. Okay. I see I do see you say hello. I see Judith say meow, then Chaka say good meowing. Oh, and you know why? You are after Judith on Facebook, but there's 3 different things in the mix. So there's Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So I just am looking at the order. It's showing me the comments, but don't worry. I am getting to you. You will be gotten to. So I forget who's next already. That's why I wrote myself. Judith, Chaka, Carol are on different platforms. Chaka and Carol are on Twitch. So don't worry. You're on the list. You're coming up. I'm just doing 3 at a time for my brain. Anyway, Judith, back to you. Judith, 5 of Swords. Have people in your life pin you down. Try to put you, try to project things and identities onto you that were perhaps not you and perhaps even smaller than you, like put you in a box that felt confining and uncomfortable. Have people in the past tried to demand things emotionally of you that required you to play smaller, and they had a difficult time understanding that you didn't have the same feelings that they did about the situation. So whereas for them it might feel healthy, for you it was like, no, it's not healthy, I'm smaller. I'm asking you because I want to ask you if that trauma, the fact of having those experiences, perhaps very frequently, of being asked to play smaller, being asked to be a different version of you for others, being asked to present to the world a certain way to make others comfortable, even if it made you uncomfortable, that energy may be coming back into your life now in the form of, like, I guess basically you would say trauma, in the form of, like, if you've been told again and again and again and again by the universe around you, you have to be smaller, you have to be a different version of you, you have to do like this, be yourself but not like that, then we internalize it, it becomes internal stories, and then the calls are coming from inside the house, right? Then it's like we've been given this toxic advice, and then as we get older, um it remains in our head, it becomes negative self-talk. So I'm going to ask you to look thoughtfully at your own self-talk, at the ways you may self-sabotage, the ways you may keep yourself small or feel like you have to apologize for taking up space or being the real you, and ask yourself if you can identify where it comes from, and do some healthy grieving and do some healthy rage, like, and allow yourself to look earnestly at where those messages may have come from and break free of them, because you don't owe it to anyone to be a smaller version of yourself. That is what I want to ask you to do. That is the nature of the Five of Swords for you right now. Don't let those people who attempted to make you small continue to have power over you. They don't deserve it. You're bigger than that. Okay. So there. Okay, next up we have Chaka. And then we have Carol, and then we have Sophie. Just making sure I'm not missing any specific requests. Okay. Chaka, pulling a card for you. You're welcome, Judith. Okay. Chaka, we have the Four of Wands. This is a time for you to create milestones for yourself. The Four of Wands is about a milestone. It's about birthdays. As you can see in this card, that's what's being illustrated in the moment. It's also been associated with weddings. It's been associated in general with celebrations of milestones. And I want to remind you, and I think you'll get with me on this, because I think you, like me, are someone who believes in creating your own personal culture and your own personal truth rather than necessarily needing to follow the beat of the larger cultural drum. It's time for you to create milestones for yourself to celebrate. It's time for you to look back at where you've been and where you're going, and give yourself a bigger picture than a pass-fail journey, right? Give yourself a bigger picture than, oh, I hope I get there. I was all the way back here and I hope I get there. Give yourself milestones to celebrate. This is how you move forward. I know you've been on a journey as a human being. Like in the last year, I feel like I've been close to a few people who've been on like these deep personal journeys, and it's been, like, for me, very enriching that I'm not the only one on it. We're all kind of like parallel journeying together in our own ways, but also comparing notes. Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is, allow your journey not to be pass fail. This is not, am I there yet? I'm a piece of shit if I'm not there yet. This is, I have made progress, and it's time to identify and celebrate progress made so that you can own and integrate those milestones as a part of you, so that when you feel you're faltering on your path, when you feel like the world feels like it's crumbling and you will never get there, you can look at the milestones and be like, but I did come this far. You can say, okay, but I do have this signpost. I might not be here yet, but I've reached this signpost and I can rest here, instead of feeling like, do not pass go, to go directly to jail, right? It's time to celebrate your own milestones. This is important for you. Give yourself a list of things that you have gotten to as milestones and celebrate them. Okay. Love this. I'm on the big heckin' journey right now. I know you are, friend. Samey. But not samey. Your journey's different than mine, but I'm also on the big heckin' journey, and I feel you. Okay, next up we have Carol. Savannah says best vibes to you on your journey. I love how supportive y'all are. Y'all are wonderful. I love this group of people. Thank you for being in community with me. You're a blessing. Okay. Carol, my dear, this card is for you. Carol, you are also gifted with the Hermit. I ask you to be yourself. I ask you to lean into your accumulated wisdom of the years you've been on this planet. I ask you to do this by looking at things that you may typically shy away from looking at. So we have the Hermit here is pictured as a beautiful elder woman holding a snake. And she and the snake are in, like, they're not having a fight. They're just like observing each other in the same way that was it the Hermit? No, it was the Ten of Swords. The guy and the owl were observing each other. this is an opportunity for you to do a little bit of shadow work and know that you have a lot to gain for it, to be a light in the darkness. The snake represents the wisdom we may be afraid to behold. I'm not going to get into the whole biblical origin thing because that's a story that has affected our culture dramatically, but I don't love the story personally. I'm not Christian. However, I can tell you that in general, snakes are about, it's about wisdom we're afraid to behold, right? It's about like, once I know this, I can't unknow this. You are encouraged at this time to just get deeply real with yourself, to like take an honest look at yourself and take an honest look about things around you that may have given you pause in the past, that may have made you say like, like, I'm not telling you to like get involved in trouble and drama that's not yours, but take an earnest look at situations that maybe are a little bit scary for you, because you may find that now, with your accumulated wisdom and discernment, now you can look at them and see them not as terrifying. Don't panic about the owls, but rather see them as something that can teach you something about yourself, about the world around you, and perhaps even something that you can have more of an impact on than you realize. Sometimes we look at scary things, and as soon as we look, they're not scary anymore. It's like how when you put off doing the dishes because you had a big meal and you're like, oh God, I don't want to do the dishes. I don't want to do the dishes. I don't want to do the dishes. And then you do, and it takes you 20 minutes and you feel great after. Um, do the dishes of your soul. If there are things you've been avoiding thinking about, now's the time to think about them. You might feel really good after. You might actually feel incredibly affirmed and in more power than you realized you had by not avoiding it. Okay? Okay. Do the dishes of your soul. Why do you guys tune in for these broadcasts? Okay, let's see. I know Sophie's on deck. I'm gonna scroll up and see who else is on deck. And do a hydration checkpoint while I do that. Okay, okay. Okay, we got Sophie. Then we got Lena. And then we have V. I'm gonna write that down. If any of you have particular questions, feel free to drop them in the chat right now. Sophie, Lena, V. Okay. Sophie, I'm pulling a card for you. Okay, Sophie, we have the Fool at this time. It is a good time for you right now to lean into the idea of a new beginning, lean into the idea of adventure. What is calling to your heart that feels new and fresh and full of possibilities? Rather than, like, I know that there are things in life that make us feel bogged down and like the opposite of possibilities, right? Like, it's like, okay, well, there's this situation, it's been going for a while and I've had to deal with it for a while. Also, there are situations in your life that may fill you with hope and joy. And now is the time, having done, as I know that you have, some of that inner work on the situations that are challenging, now is the time to turn your focus and attention to the situations that fill you with hope and joy, to allow pleasure and adventure and possibility to be teachers for you rather than pain. All of these things can be teachers, right? Painful situations can teach us a lot. And it's like, that's when we say, AFGO, another fucking growth opportunity. But now it's like another fucking growth opportunity in a good direction. It's time to lean into things that fill you with wonder, to things that you don't fully understand yet, and that's part of their appeal, right? Like, just to be excited, to feel the sun on your face, to feel there's a sense of possibility. I don't know what's coming next in this chapter, and I love it. To allow your life to be a book that you're reading that you can't put down. That is the energy to approach these coming weeks with. To trust that there is something out there for you. You probably already have some ideas of what it or those things may be, that will just light you up and take you to a new place. You're healing through growth at this time. You're learning through growth and through new experiences at this time. So there. Okay, next up I've got Lena. Lena. Lena, your card is death, and it's so appropriate because death is a card of transformation. It's time to transform. It's time to allow yourself to own that. I encourage you, actually, because during times of transformation, like death is a card that freaks people out, and every now and then I see death come up for someone and I want to celebrate it because I know it's like actually a long time coming. Death is not a negative card. Death is a card of transformation. And the thing about transformation, like death, that makes it scary is it's untakebackable. You go through a portal and you can't go back the other side. Like once you graduate, everyone loves graduating. It's great. It's a big moment. But then you can't go back to high school after that. You can't. It's over. So you're doing an ascension thing. You can't go back. You can't unknow what you now know. You can't unlearn what you've now learned. And so now it's time to integrate this new version of yourself into the world. Yes, like a friggin' butterfly. Yeah. So it's time to allow that to unfold, to allow, like, at this moment, you yourself are the transformation. You yourself are the portal. This is an active transformation. It's on purpose. Like it's not like, oh, I walked through the portal and I'm in a whole new world like Narnia or whatever. It's like I am the whole new world. So your life right now is a process of embodying that transformation, knowing that you will surprise yourself and the world will surprise you, bothy. Knowing that, as I was saying to Sophie, that you don't know what's coming next in the chapter, and it, like, it'll be what it'll be, but that's how it's meant to be. Knowing that you're on this journey, that now that you've started, there's no going back. There's no healthy going back, I would say. Put it that way. So embody this, enjoy this, because you're in a, oh, ding, ding, ding. It's our word of the year, liminal space. You're in a liminal space right now. Like, you are a liminal space right now. Embody and enjoy this moment, because you're never going to get it again. So allow yourself to love this transformational stage and experience it and learn who you are becoming and what you are becoming and what your life is becoming, and allow it to just be a ride that you're like taking like snapshots of and being like a geeky tourist about. Like, have a great friggin' time. Okay. Next up, we have V. Ooh, there's a trans YouTuber I really love who makes the same comparison between gender transition and liminal spaces. Yeah, 1,000,000%. I really agree. It is a liminal space. It's old new to you, new you. I can't say words, but yes. And it's like fantastic because it's full of possibilities. I will also say, I notice when people are transitioning in their lives, when people are transitioning, period, that other aspects of their lives transform as well. That it's not a one and done thing, that it is like a whole affirming process of, like affirming other aspects of themselves and what they need at that time. And it's like, that is the beautiful thing about liminal spaces, is that like we drop the expectations and now anything is possible. It's amazing. So yes, be the butterfly you wish to see in the world, my friend. Okay, next up, we have V. And I'm going up to find what V said. Do. Where are you? I'm trying to find the comment. There's Chaka. There's Carol. There's Sophie. There's V Hernandez. Hello. New. Are you new to the broadcast? Hello, welcome. I know that V, I'm hoping you can still comment, because if you're brand new to the page, I just said it so that people have to be following for a certain amount of time before they can comment. And it's not to make it so people can't have a new experience. That's on Facebook too. And if you're someone who's watching on Facebook and you're like, man, I'd really like to comment, but I can't because I'm new to the page, please feel free to find me on another social media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, all Sassafras Tarot. The reason I do it is simply because it cuts down on spam and scams. So that's an option I have with Facebook, and I take it because we've had scam problems on Facebook. But if you find yourself unable to comment, please feel free to go over to another platform. You'll be able to comment there. Anyway, V, I'm pulling a card for you. Thank you so much for joining my broadcast. I'm so grateful. Okay, V, we have the Nine of Swords. What stories are you telling yourself right now? What is ruminating in your mind? What is stressing you out? And I'm going to ask you lovingly as a friend, are you stressing yourself out extra by connecting it to old stories. In other words, there's a situation you're in now, and is your brain going, "Ah, this is just like every time before, and it's going to be like this, and here's how it's going to be, and it's like watching a train wreck." Like, are you telling yourself a story right now about all the bad things that are about to happen? And are you stuck in a nightmare of, like, I don't blame people for this. We have experiences that are painful and they shape us, and we don't want to have painful experiences again because they're no fun. And so our brain kind of trains itself to be like, wait, I remember that. That was bad. We don't do that, right? And sometimes that's helpful, like it means that we don't like put our hand on a hot stove and burn ourselves, but sometimes it hurts us. Sometimes we're like, oh, last time I opened up to someone, it didn't go well, so I'll never open up to someone again. That doesn't help us, right? But our brain's just doing its best. So I'm going to ask you lovingly to take a step back from all your stories and to ask yourself what's true about this situation and what you fear about this situation. And your feelings are important. I'm not telling you your feelings don't matter, but I want you to like maybe make a side-by-side list. What is true? What am I afraid of? And take a look at those two things and ask yourself, like, there's probably things that you're afraid of that are not on the true list. And there are probably things that are true that maybe you're not even noticing because you're so busy being afraid, right? So I want to ask you to take a step back about that. And then I want to ask you to make a third list. And that third list is, how can I be kind to myself? Because this is challenging for me. I'm not asking you to like bully yourself, into going through a situation that makes you scared. I'm asking you to take yourself in hand and be like, this is scary. How can I get through this scary time without making myself more scared? To like be that person, be your friend to yourself as you go through this situation that obviously requires courage because it's frightening you. Okay? Okay. Okay, let's see who is next. I know I have many people. Oh gosh, it's 12. If you've requested a card, I'm getting to you, but I do have something at 12:30, so I'm trying to go quick lie. Okay. We had V. Okay, so next we have Ange. I already got Judith. We have Savannah and Oph. Ange, Savannah, Oph, Anna. I'm writing this down. Ange, Savannah, Oph, Anna. All of you asked in like the first 10 minutes, so believe me, I'm gonna get to you. And I'm looking to see if there's anyone else. Ooh, you're drinking pomegranate seltzer, Mary Jane. That's neat. Is there anybody else? No, I think that's it. Okay, so this is who I'm reading cards for, and then we're closed. Okay? Okay. These are the people. And I'm putting it up for myself. And these will be the final cards. Readings are now closed because it is 11:59 a.m. and your girl is trying to honor her own boundaries. Also, because Alex is making me a delicious egg sandwich right now in the next room, and I'm going to eat it as soon as this broadcast is over. Okay. And if any of you has a particular question, feel free to drop it in the chat now. If you did and I missed it, I'm sorry. This is a great opportunity. Drop your question in the chat. I'm not skipping you, Savannah. Gosh darn it. I'm not. Okay. And we have the Seven of Swords. What is in light and what is in shadow in this situation? Again, we have a situation of things that are true versus things that we don't know and we suspect, writing our own truth onto the situation. And I want to ask you as well how you're doing this with yourself. Are there ways that you're being dishonest with yourself because of either what you'd like to see or because of what you think others would like to see? This is the Seven of Swords is a card of disguises, and I will share with you that for me this has come up when I have felt over the years that I need to wear a mask for whatever reason. In various ways. I know probably everyone has had this experience for different reasons. Most queer people I know have felt that they had to mask as straight or cisgender at some point in their life in order to escape danger. Or like during the time where they were coming to terms with who they are, they were like, I gotta just continue to play it a certain way that no longer feels real. Many people I know who have followed a dream that other people don't buy into have had to wear the mask of making their moves in silence. And the Seven of Swords in particular, it's a card of secrets. You can see this person is like looking through a crack in the door, gaining some information. But you can see that like they're surrounded by swords, right? What are they going to do with that information? It's very much an every person for themselves kind of card. So I'm going to ask you, um, what in your life right now is making you feel that you have to be secretive? What in your life right now is making you feel, that perhaps you have to wear a mask? And I'm not going to tell you what to do about that. I'm going to ask you to think about it. I'm going to ask you to consider what those feelings are, if they're old or new feelings. If it's like, oh, I feel this way because I have felt this way in the past and it's been traumatic, or if it's like, oh, I feel this way, but I think it is a safe thing for me to do. And if that's the case, how can you take care of yourself around it? Because many of us have had to wear a variety of masks throughout our lives to play the role that's functional in our society, in our community, and whatever, that will get our needs met. And many of us, that becomes a habit, and it's not necessarily a healthy habit. And then it's worth it to detect when we can take off the mask. And it's worth it to also detect if there are times it's still worth putting it back on, but we know that costs us, or it costs our heart, and what we can do to care for ourselves at that time. So I'm not making prescriptive recommendations for you, other than take a look and ask yourself how you can be kind to yourself in this time, and what wisdom looks like for you. Hope says, pay to watch you eat the sandwich. Would you care for an egg in this trying time? Y'all are delightful. Moving hard away from masking. I feel that. And disguising. But you said disgusting. Freudian slip. Yeah. You're not disgusting. But putting on an old mask that you hate to wear can feel disgusting. So, small gestures, building towards bigger actions, my authentic self will be leading. I love it. Stepping into those shoes to tread forward the new train, peering through the door. Yeah, and that's not unsafe, that's making a wise choice. And a, thoughtful, slow-paced choice. There's never anything wrong with doing something slowly, y'all. It will never be wrong to make your moves slowly and thoughtfully. Okay. Savannah, my question is, what energy can aid me right now? Open Anna, if you have questions in particular, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just pull a general card for you. Savannah, 5 of Pentacles. Please accept help if you need help. Please take care of yourself and your loved ones to the best of your ability. What energy can aid you right now? The energy of charity, and that charity goes both ways. The energy that when you feel helpless, there is someone who wants to help you, and the energy that there may be people in your life who feel helpless who you can easily help. And knowing that that energy goes both ways is usually what allows us in our hearts to accept it when we're struggling most. So this is a time right now to look at those who have less than you and see what you can do to help them, and look at areas where you have less and actively ask for help, because this is intersectional. Most of us have been on both sides of this card, the person receiving help and the person giving help, at different times in our lives, right? And maybe at the same time in our lives, we're on different sides in different ways. For example, you may be facing, and this is you, general you, not you right now, a healthcare crisis that is stressful, that means you require a lot of help in order to manage. And also someone may be facing a financial crisis, and you handing them some money might really help them with their crisis, and them giving you some practical help might really help you with your health needs, right? And when we think of charity and help and kindness as intersectional, as everyone needs some help and everyone can give some help, we can get out of our heads about needing help. Because mostly what we feel when we look at the 5 of Pentacles, which is a card of need and help and charity, often it's a shame trigger for us. Often we feel like, I'm not supposed to need help. I'm supposed to be the helper. And when we look at it intersectionally and realize we've been on both sides of that equation many times, and that's healthy, and that's what good community looks like, it can allow us to get the help we need and to give the help freely, and to value ourselves and take on that role and be like, wow, I can be both. I can be the giver and the receiver. This is a beautiful web. That is the energy that will help you right now. Okay. I just found out I'm pregnant. Could definitely use a little help. Oh my gosh, congratulations. But I can also think of ways I can help others that would be life-giving to me, not draining. Ooh, yes, I like that. And also I will submit to you that you yourself being pregnant, which you don't sound upset about it, so I'm assuming this is a pregnancy you intend to keep, you are right now giving that help to someone who would be helpless without you, right? Like you are the person who is allowing someone else to thrive through giving of yourself in the most literal sense, you know? So you're on both sides of that equation right now, like for sure for the next 9 months. So remember that, you know, like remember how much you're giving just by being where you are and being pregnant right now, and allow yourself to take help along the way. Okay. Hello. My sandwich has arrived. You're magical. I'm not going away, guys. I'm just accepting my sandwich. Mm. Sandwich me, baby. Thank you.
It is 12:05.
It is 12:05. Behold. Behold. Get you a spouse who cooks you egg sandwiches when you have a busy day. Okay. Egg, much excite. Okay. Oaf pulling a card for you, and then Anna. It is amazing. It is wonderful. Oaf, your card is the moon. First of all, duality is a thing right now, just a thing for you to consider, that you are learning a lot by looking at yourself in relation to others, not necessarily in one relationship, but I would say in many. There's a comparing, contrasting thing that can teach you a great deal about yourself and about the world around you and about your philosophy and what you want to be in the world and who you want to be in the world and how you want to be with the world. In other words, like boundaries you wish to set and invitations you wish to make, right? Because that's the opposite of a boundary is an invitation, right? So consider yourself throughout these coming weeks in relation to others, and what those interactions look like and what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And this will teach you a lot about the person you are becoming, as well as contextually how you wish to engage with those around you. Contextually, the boundaries and invitations you wish to make. Additionally, the moon is about our subconscious. The moon is about what we don't see. So as you're looking at yourself in duality in relation to other people, also know that there are things that you're not seeing, but your subconscious sure does see them. And your subconscious is probably even like having a series of opinions about it. And that's not a negative thing. That's a normal human psychology thing. But it may be wise for you right now to pay deeper attention to your subconscious, to continue to look at duality with your relationship to yourself, to look at like light side, bright side of you, moon versus sun. So when we talk about the moon and the sun, sometimes light and dark can sound like I mean, it's honestly like it's problematic, but people perceive like, oh, like the light side of things and the dark side of things, like the Force in Star Wars, right? Darkness is not necessarily bad. Moonlight is a different type of light than sunlight. Sun shines a light and everything is very clear. Moonlight is like everything is not very clear. It's beautiful light and it can be very inspiring and it can be very peaceful and it can also be very scary because we can't exactly see things in the same way. When I look at my backyard and it's bathed in moonlight, it's gorgeous, and I also don't know exactly what I'm looking at. And I'm like, is that, you know, I don't know, a fallen log or a cute bunny because I have bunnies in my yard? Or is it like a danger owl that's going to come and get me and I should panic about the owls, right? I'm not sure. So spend some time reflecting on the sun version of you, your consciousness, and what it is seeing and interpreting, as well as considering what the moon version of you, your subconscious, may be seeing and interpreting. And you can access information from the moon version of you with creativity, with things like journaling and writing, especially like automatic writing, the kind of things that get you out of your head and just get you onto paper, literally or figuratively. And like by paying attention to your dreams, paying attention as well to daydreams, paying attention to like scenarios that play out in your mind, because we all have them, you know, those are often subconscious. When we're like sitting in traffic and we're imagining the conversation we're going to have when we get to where we're going, pay attention to that kind of accidental daydream and what it's telling you about you and what it's telling you about your thoughts and fears and hopes and beliefs. Okay. You have much to learn from yourself and from others and from your internal self at this time. That is your teacher. I feel compelled to go make eggs. It's happening. Yes, here for it. Ooh, going to the diner after this. You know that I exclusively eat eggs at diners, so that's wonderful. Okay. Our final thing is for Anna. And then we are going to, and then I'm going to go eat this sandwich. I'm very excited about it. Alex makes very good egg sandwiches. Take a bite before you shuffle. Oh, y'all. I don't know why I suddenly feel very uncomfortable about this. Have you ever taken a bite and then realized how long it takes to chew a thing, and then you're like, oh wow, this is going on forever? That's how I feel. Anyway, can report this is a very good egg sandwich. Also, ingredients. This is sourdough bread. This is good sourdough bread. Good American cheese, not like Kraft singles, but like from the deli section. I get the cage-free eggs because I like the chickens to have a nice time. Yeah. Food is so much better when someone else cooks it. Yeah, and I usually cook for myself. So it's a treat eating something that someone else made. I love you do the happy sandwich. I do the happy sandwich dance. Um okay. What you don't know, and one of the reasons that Alex is so good at making me egg sandwiches is he requests a review, an honest review. It's like how I ask you, how are you really feeling? Real answer, not polite answer. He requests an honest review after each one because he's constantly recalibrating how to make the best possible egg sandwich for me because this is the wonderful type of person that he is. Okay, Anna, this card is for you. I know you asked a question. How can I jumpstart my body back to health? Okay, I'm pulling a card for you. Anna, your answer is the Ace of Cups. Your health needs right now require you to have a little bit of an emotional breakthrough as much as a physical health breakthrough. It's not so much about like Ace of Pentacles would be a more physical breakthrough. Ace of Cups right now means that you need to have the experience, and you know better than I what kind of experience this would be, that will allow you to see a fresh perspective, that will allow you to step outside the grimness of the situation that you're feeling right now and the kind of repetitiveness of it. If you remember when I was talking to Sophie about the Fool, and how we have situations in our lives that just feel like they're ongoing and very predictable in a not fun way. And we can kind of get embroiled in those situations. And the Fool is what allows us to step outside ourselves and remember there can be hope, there can be joy, there can be adventure. You need to have that kind of foolish revelation at this time. The Ace of Cups is about emotional renewal. Now, emotional renewal is not something we can force ourselves to have. It's very nice for me to be like, oh, you need to have an emotional breakthrough. This is something that can happen from external forces, right? Sometimes it just happens and it's beautiful. But we can do things that will help us have emotional renewals. I've noticed that I tend to have them more, well, when I'm walking every day, that's important for me, which I know that you're experiencing health stuff, so that might not be good advice for me to give to you. I've also had emotional renewal happen when I'm traveling. Just the change of scenery can get me emotional renewal. When you're looking for a change of heart, it can be helpful to change the scenery. And if it's difficult to leave where you're at, then change the scenery by making different choices about what you do and what information and media and stuff you surround yourself. There's an author that I love called Charles DeLint who talks about restoring yourself when you need to kind of shore up your emotional center, meaning that you seek out stories that will help you make the next step, the stories that will help you move through, because humanity talks in stories. We respond better to anecdotes than statistics, even though statistics have been scientifically studied and like tell us some facts. When somebody says, I read the statistics on this and it says this, it's not as powerful to our brains as when somebody says, well, I did this and here's what happens, even though that represents one person's story rather than 1,000 persons' stories. It's just how our brains interpret information. So restore yourself. Restore yourself in such a way as to inspire hope, as to inspire perspective, right? We can't have control over everything, but right now your emotional perspective dramatically affects the level of control you do believe you have in your life. So we don't have control over everything. We do have a lot of influence. And you're missing the boat on influence you can have because of pain, because you haven't had the emotional renewal in too long. because instead you've been having emotional detraction. So I invite you to actively on purpose seek out emotional renewal and to just keep doing it. Just surround yourself with things that make you feel good, with things that make you feel hopeful, with things that make you feel joy, with things that make you laugh until you get to a different emotional space. Like go on a restoring Anna party. That is my diagnosis for you. Okay? Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I will be back. I usually do this the last Saturday of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so adjust accordingly for your time zone. I'm in New York. So I'll be back in 1 month's time and we'll do this again. It's been such a pleasure to get to read for you today. If you are in my Witchy Self-Care Intensive, we will be meeting in about 15 minutes after I eat my egg sandwich. If you're not already following me, I hope you'll follow me because I do sometimes post like cards of the day, things like that. Hi, Melissa. How are you? Good to see you. I'm sorry that you caught me right at the end, but I love you too. It's good to see you. Anyway, have a wonderful. If you would like to order a guide card or any other type of reading or a New Year's reading from me, you can do that by looking at the links at the bottom of the scroll or on Instagram by going to the link in my bio. Etsy.com/shop/sassafras tarot. So if you put Sassafras Tarot into the search on Etsy, you'll find me. Also, if you put Sassafras Tarot into the search on any social media site, you'll probably find me. So that is how you can stay in touch. Let's stay in touch. I like you. You're great. Okay? Have a wonderful everybody. I am wishing you a wonderful, wonderful experience over the next few days and weeks and months. I'll see you next year. Bye.